born in the city, I think raised in the South Bay. How about it for Kevin Pollak, everybody?
Yeah.
Please be seated. Thank you.
Yeah. You know what I learned the last time you were on? I mean, obviously your credits are, I don't need to go through them all, but I couldn't even. There wouldn't be enough time. A Few Good Men, of course, I think was an explosive role that, but of course, as a comedian, you'd already achieved some huge things. And then Usual Suspects, I think, was another one of those incredible performances, an incredible ensemble cast, and you got great stories from that. And I know in your live act, you even tell some stories, or in podcasts, you've told a bunch. Casino, I loved you in that. I don't think there's anything you've done that I didn't think was really a home run on your part. Sometimes I know you can end up in things that you thought would be better or whatever. You've always really hit the ball hard. Recently. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, everybody, come on.
And, thank you.
And Willow, everybody. You thought it was done. You thought Willow was done after the feature. How long ago was Willow, the feature, the Ron Howard movie? How long ago was that done?
35 years.
Okay, and now they've just brought it back, and it's a hit. It's a hit. Where can we see you in Willow, Kevin? Where is it? I haven't seen it yet, the TV series.
That's quite all right. I'll come by the house and put it up for you. It's on what they call Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus, everybody. How about it for Disney Plus? Okay, there you go.
Don't look for Disney Minus. Apparently, there's not a lot of programming content there.
Right. Yeah, you really want the plus. Yeah. Willow is timeless, says Huge in Japan. How about that? Well, Kevin, how about it? You that's your latest, and
yeah.
I mean, however, you couldn't have expected that. That's just wild that it's come back after all this time.
You wait 34 years for an email. Long before emails existed, you think someday an email is going to come and people say, what's an email? 34 years ago when the email came anyways, and now 35 years. Jonathan Kasdan, the show's series creator, grew up at that perfect age where when the movie came out, it was his entire universe. Michael Zegan, who plays my son on the aforementioned Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, is also of that age. And when we worked on Maisel, he's just obsessed and can quote every line. And he also now is loving this series. I'm only in one episode, spoiler alert. But I was just shocked to be in it at all. It's pretty remarkable.
That's really terrific. I was going to say and mention something that's Bay Area specific. First of all, Kevin's a huge, Giants fan, Niners fan, all the rest. Niners, I mean, this is a Cinderella kind of season in a sense, right? You keep losing, we lose quarterbacks. We lose this guy. We lose Trey, as I like to pretend I know on my first name basis. Then the guy, Jimmy G, who had stink on him, all of a sudden becomes the savior. Then he goes down and we start, wringing our hand. And then Purdy comes up.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant. By the way, Kevin, you agree with me? Bad last name, best first name. Brock is the best first name, right?
I mean, first of all, yes, Brock is a superstar quarterback name.
Right, that's right. Okay.
For sure.
Not a good name for like a rabbi or something. No. Okay, sorry, you speak. Go ahead.
Brock Weissman, one of the great rabbis from St. Louis. And can throw downfield as a rabbi.
Yeah.
You don't see it coming. It's listen, one of my favorite images was in the game before, I guess it was against Seattle, on the sidelines after Brock had scored yet again. He was standing there talking to, I think, Shanahan, and Trey Lance was over Brock's left shoulder. I mean, this camera angle was just kind of so prophetic in the sense that Trey's looking on as Brock is having his career right in front of him.
Right. And that's exactly right. Wow.
In this image, you just see Trey watching Brock's fantasies come true. And listen, they're stepping up in a moment of opportunity, and that's what Brock represents. He's the poster child now for that very thing. And it's pretty remarkable. Yeah. Completely
I love that, what you just said, which is he's having the career that Trey was supposed to have. I mean, he's having the season that Trey was supposed to have, where you are given the opportunity and you step up. And I kind of feel, I mean, to do a hosty thing and to tie it to you, I feel as though that's sort of what's happened at times, like inflection moments in your career. I mean, you've had a great run that continues to, I mean, you may be as hot as ever with all of these different projects that I've talked about, but you had to have the goods when Scorsese called, for example. I mean, these are great opportunities, but you really have to hit the ball at that moment. Same with Usual Suspects. Same with these different things that are kind of tent poles throughout your career.
Yes, I have been very fortunate to do a number of movies. I don't know the exact number in 91, but I will say that.
Yeah.
She says from the guest room.
Yeah.
91 movies. Wow.
What?
That's what the internet tells me.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank goodness there's a algorithm keeping track of things for us. Yeah, there's no question. When you do have these opportunities, you do need, what is that? The luck meeting is opportunity meeting expertise or talent or I came up as a stand-up. I put in probably 15 years of stand-up on stage before I had to learn how to audition down in Los Angeles. And
by the way, when you say that, well, like, what is there a premium on in auditioning that really isn't necessarily a premium thing as a performer, like when you actually get the job?
Yeah. So the weirdest part was just saying other people's words, over the years, because I started and have done stand-up now over 40 years. When I've been asked to do a play, Broadway, the idea of sharing stage with all those people just holds no interest for me. When you've held that stage by yourself.
Yeah. Who are these other people? Right.
Yeah. Why are they also getting response and applause? Yeah. So you do have to learn to not only say other people's words, but to figure out what's in the writer's mind in terms of what the performance should be. And then in a 3-minute opportunity in the audition room, I put a book out a dozen years ago or so called How I Slept My Way to the Middle. And I talk a lot about, I don't think I could use that title today. I just realized, hashtag canceled. So I talk about how the audition process is sort of designed to fail. When I've directed now, I much prefer picking up the phone and offering parts to people, because when you bring an actor in, they're so nervous. They're not representing the sort of confidence they will have on the set when they're acting in your film. And so you're almost getting 180 degree from the very essence of a performance in the audition than you're going to get in front of the camera. So you really do have to learn. I've seen Michael Keaton and recently I think Bryan Cranston talk about making that turn during the auditioning process when you realize I used to think of the audition as this threat to my happiness. I better nail this or it's all going to go to hell, versus the realization of, this is what I do. This is my job. I prepare and I go to that office, into that room for those people. Now you put yourself on camera, I suppose. But part of my job is to act in these moments.
Oh, that's interesting.
And not hold my career up for ransom in this singular so-called alleged opportunity, but rather this is part of my job. I audition. That's what it is. Thankfully, A Few Good Men came out 30 years ago, and I've been getting offers since. Although my co-star in Mrs. Maisel, Tony Shalhoub, insists that he's audition only.
So that's in Hollywood they say I'm offer only, meaning I don't audition, right? I'm audition only.
Yeah, he refuses to accept offers.
That's very funny.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the 5th and final season, I guess, will be out sometime in the spring. We haven't been told when the final season of Mrs. Maisel will drop, but we're very, very
I don't know series they had that was as big a hit as Maisel before Maisel. I can't think of anything that was as big on Amazon as Maisel. It's incredible. It's a phenomenon, and it's international too, isn't it, Kevin?
Well, because it's worldwide, our fourth season dropped a year ago, spring, or the spring of 22, and I guess February. But we garnered 500 million views a week.
Wow.
Because it's global, because it's international. When we did press, we spoke to different countries. And for example, India had 6 different press outlets during the press junket because, as we were told, we're the biggest American export in entertainment to India.
Wow.
In history.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess it's maybe the Bollywood connection because there are some similarities of a musical nature, of wardrobe, and
yeah, I see that. Now that you say it, I see that. Right. Some overlap.
And as they insisted, the family connection also is very, very big in Bollywood.
Right.
Anywho, so to be a part of that ridiculous international phenomenon, you're right. It is a truly sort of ridiculous thing. It is winning the lottery of one's career when one of those kind of jobs comes along. I've got a movie coming out in the new year called Sweetwater, about Nate Clifton Sweetwater, considered by many the Jackie Robinson of the NBA. In 1950, there were 3 African-American players who entered the NBA. So they don't pin the Jackie Robinson on any one player, but Sweetwater sort of came forward because he came from the Harlem Globetrotters and had the most, I guess, popularity and success. I play Abe Saperstein, who created, coached, and owned the Harlem Globetrotters starting in 1926. This movie starts in 49. So that's something to look forward to in the new year.
When you had to go to school on Saperstein and who he was and the backstory, I mean, there's a lot to learn, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. You can drill down because there's so much available through history, and what a character! What an absolute amazing character! And there's some other great actors, Cary Elwes and Richard Dreyfuss and Jeremy Piven. There's all kinds of cool people.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I want to ask you if you would hang for a minute. I want to check in with our sponsor real quick, but if you would hang out for a second, I want to ask you about a photo I saw, a recent photo. With you and a bunch of other people, all of whom I think the listeners and viewers would know. But I want to ask you about this. Well, I'll tell you about the photo.
Great tease. Just a tremendous tease.
When we come. It's what I do, Kevin, really, I tell you. All right. So more with Kevin Pollak as we continue. Smash the like button for Kevin Pollak and more as we continue.
The Mark Thompson Show.
On my birthday, it's so cool to have Steve Moskowitz in the mix. Wow. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Mark.
Thanks, pal.
And
really
enjoy your 35th year.
Thank you very much. Hey, Steve Moskowitz, it's here at the end of the year. I can still take advantage of things if I've been dinged by COVID with ERC, right? That's still government money that's there.
Absolutely. And
so the sun hasn't set on that. Okay. Yeah.
For the federal government to give you, they're giving away the money. It's not a loan. They're giving away up to $26,000 for every employee that you had in 2020 and 2021 that qualifies. There's 2 different ways to qualify. The easy way, that's a certain drop in gross revenue. But tragically, there's so many firms, so many CPAs that are just doing the easy way. They're mass producing this. And if your gross revenue didn't drop it, that's it, no ERC for you. But there's another way, because the law specifically says either or. The other way is more complex. Sometimes we have to meet with the client 2-3 times to determine, do they qualify? But if they do, you get just as much money. And Mark, you and I know recently 3 different cases we had where the CPAs turned away and said, your gross revenue didn't go down, but one client qualified for $100,000 because the CPA said it was too much trouble for her. Again, too much trouble to get $100,000 for somebody else. And then there was the one where the guy left $1 million on the table because the CPA didn't seem to know about it. And the other one where he left $1.5 million. Now, I realize those are dramatic numbers and not everybody qualifies, but a lot of people do qualify. even though they didn't have the drop in gross revenue. That is the big deal, and that's the crying shame, because if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. And how would you feel if you left God knows how much money on the table because somebody that you trusted either didn't know about the other method or it was just too much trouble for them?
Yeah, and I think you make a good point. I mean, the numbers may vary in specific instances, but the reality is you don't know what you don't know. So you may think you don't qualify as a small business person, even as a sole proprietor, but you may very well qualify. So reach Steve here at the end of the year and throw the Hail Mary. I mean, it may indeed be something that you will get real government money. And it is a grant, not a loan, as he has labored to communicate time and time again. 888-TAX-DEAL, 888-TAX-DEAL, 888-TAX-DEAL. You can also reach Steve online, MoskowitzLLP.com, MoskowitzLLP.com, Moskowitz LLP.com. Steve Moskowitz. Steve, great seeing you, and thanks again for a great year, my friend.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Mark.
All right, my friend. That's really, really cool. Love it.
I'm Shadow Stevens, and Christmas was great, but it's over. And now, it's the Mark Thompson Birthday Show.
Yeah, it is, everybody. Smash the like button like a boss for Kevin Pollak.
Smash it with your iron rod.
Hit the thumbs up if you're watching in replay. I sometimes like to watch in replay, you know.
Smash it with your iron
If
rod.
you've got an iron rod, that's a great way to do it, but you don't have to do it with an iron rod. Anyway, thank you for being here. It is my birthday. There's a sense of ebullience about my birthday. Ebullience is a ding word, by the way. And Kevin Pollak is here. I will tell you that... by the way, I'm drinking a coffee out of a Kron mug, which I had when I was, I got this when back in the 80s.
That's very impressive. I'm drinking out of a Contigo, which I got
You got like an hour ago.
From Jon Hamm. It's not a competition, Mark.
I got from Jon Hamm, everybody. That is
well,
really
I will tell you
What?
this. So
Yeah,
you've played in my weekly poker game on occasion, Mark. And so, and as do other celebrities. And so, this one time Jon Hamm played, and he was drinking out of this ridiculous travel mug the whole night, and he had to leave early. So as he got up to leave, somebody said, "So, John, I got to ask, what is the deal with the travel mug thing? You didn't want to use one of Kevin's regular mugs?" So then he goes into almost a Don Draper pitch on why the Contigo is so superior with the double lock opportunities. And so impressive that everyone just applauds at the table when he gets done. The next day, giant package arrives, a Contigo for all the players.
Wow.
That is the class and consideration of a Jon Hamm.
Wow, that is really something, man. That is a great story. Wow.
It's the only reason I drink out of it on camera, so I can tell that story.
Well, we have, Kevin, I don't mean to, this isn't, it sounds like you're very happy with your Contigo, but this is the Mark Thompson tumbler, which is available. Yeah, the Mark Thompson Show tumbler is available, and it can, hot and cold beverages. I'm sure that yours is the same.
Damn
But you
attractive.
can yeah, and
just
this is
lacking
brand
that
new.
double locking mechanism.
Well, most of my viewers and listeners don't need a double locked, Kevin.
No.
I mean, one lock is enough. I'm just saying. But that's at getmarkmerch.com. Yeah. And again, that logo is just, it brings a certain magic to your life. And again, these are just, I just mentioned it. It was not my intent.
That's not the hydration system. That's just the tumbler, right?
That's right. The hydration system, Kevin, again, I don't want to bog our conversation down with these things that are available at getmarkmarch.com to help keep us on the air, all the funds. Yeah, too late. It is, a lot of people would call it a special water bottle, like specific to the show. But, there is all the stuff you can get. And Kevin, you know what I'm going to do? And I'm going to come in. I have to buy the stuff myself. That's how sad it is. Yeah. But I'm going to commit to giving you something from this website because I've hijacked this interview to look at that Mark Advanced Hydration System.
Yeah.
Wow. It's really something special.
I think that's what you want to send him. That's good.
No, it's maybe. Maybe it sounds the reason I'm at all double clutching is he sounds pretty committed to this Jon Hamm thing he's got going. So
well, this is for hot coffee. The thing you just
Okay.
showed me looks like it's perfect for your ice water every day.
you know what? Done. I will get you one. Done. It is done. All right.
I'm
Now,
not using that crap Contigo for cold water.
first, Kim, I think I learned this in our last conversation. And I've known Kevin for many years. I didn't know that Kevin, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, his uncle, Kim, started Tommy's Joint. You know Tommy's Joint on Geary?
Yeah, in the city. Yeah.
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 Is that
Is that
right?
true?
Yeah. He's one of the founders. I think there
Right.
were 2 or 3 of them, but his name's on the side of the building still, or at least it was last time I drove past. Yeah, that was Al Pollak, sort of the godfather of the family. His son Jeffrey Pollak, quite the impresario, owned the boarding house before he sold it to Bill Graham. Julius's Castle, many venues.
Julius's Castle's cool.
Yeah. In fact, when Steve Martin recorded "Let's Get Small" at the boarding house, it was in fact owned by Jeffrey Pollak at the time.
No kidding.
A little family history in the city, sure.
That is
That's
great.
cool.
I know then you were raised in South Bay, right? San Jose area?
Yeah, I was too young to put up any sort of argument. Much as I loved being a native son of San Francisco, the promise of the suburbs of San Jose, where in high school, of course, I met a young Dave Rigetti.
Yes.
Pioneer High School.
Wow. Was Dave Rigetti a phenom in high school? Must have been, right? Already.
We played center field, never pitched a ball.
No kidding.
Yep, and he was on a championship team all 3 years. And
Tell everybody who Dave Rigetti is, please.
Well, arguably one of the greatest pitching coaches the San Francisco Giants have ever had, in the sense that when they won those 3 World Series in 10, 12, and 14, one would argue and win that debate. It was all about pitching, and he was, in fact, the pitching coach those years as well. I don't want to say that the pitching has gone downhill since Dave was shown the door, but again, that's another argument that one could make.
Well, and a great pitcher in his own right.
Perfect, a no-hitter with the Yankees too in his playing days.
He was
no-hitter in his rookie season in 1983 on 4th of July.
Wow. Yeah, he was an unreal pitcher before he was a pitching coach. So this guy, and a lot of players who are insanely good as players cannot make the move to being pitching coaches or other sorts of coaches. They were great players, but they just don't have that move. But he was, as Kevin says, just outstanding as a coach and, largely responsible for that insane pitching program that took them through the World Series,
How does it work living in Los Angeles, surrounded by Dodger blue? Are you still a Giants fan? Do you proudly wear Giants gear, or do you get the boos when you walk out?
Well, fortunately, Dodger fans are the worst fans in the world. And so I'm quite comfortable walking around with all my 49ers and Giants gear. I don't go to Dodger Stadium, not just because it's the worst sports park in the world also, but because I hate them so very, very much. Like inexplicable. It's in my DNA. I can't even wrap my head around it myself. But even when I think the Giants are going to crush them, the idea of even of the 49ers as well. I won't go to the new fancy SoFi Park, even though we own the Rams. What are we, 8-0 in regular season? The last 8 challenges.
Yeah, and it's completely red for every road game. It's basically another home game for us.
Yeah. But I won't go there just because when the Rams do anything positive for the fans to scream, if I have to see a Rams fan be happy, I'll pass out. I'll pass out from anger. So I can't even enjoy the upside of watching our team crush.
This is one of the great things about being Kevin Pollak, I think. He is aggressively a Giants fan, like in your face. If you're like, I'm super, me, I'm super polite, like a lot of rounded edges. I don't like any trouble. I don't want to offend anybody. Kevin is unapologetic. I'm a Giants fan. Off Dodgers. I don't even want to do an interview with you. You're the Dodgers station. Screw you. I mean, it was.
No, I don't talk to him. but I can't deny the aggressive part, but I will say it's all verbal. It's all a lot of yelling and screaming. There's no physical confrontations.
No. And
not just because I'm a coward.
Okay. Kevin, I
have to say, I was just
go ahead,
Googling.
Kevin.
I just found an article.
Yes.
I'm gonna try to share this. You're on MLB.com. I don't know if you knew this. It says that you it's like it's a homecoming for a Giants fan is what it says. On MLB.com. They mean business. Yeah, homecoming for an old school Giants fan. So, even Major League Baseball is aware of this phenomenon.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. No, it's part of my profile.
He wrote that. He wrote that piece. Homecoming for an old school Giants fan.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yes, I certainly did.
It's funny.
It's kind of been a disastrous offseason though for Giants.
That was wild. That Correa thing though. You see that it also was falling apart for the Mets. Yeah. They had this big acquisition the Giants were going to do. Then for medical reasons, they let this guy go. Carlos Correa is his name. He goes to the Mets, and we thought, we missed out on this incredible thing. And now the Mets are kind of beginning to backstep because of the same medical issue. So, I don't know, just threw that in. Sorry, I know. Albert,
weirdly,
I blame you.
The medical issue is he's attending nursing school.
Okay.
Little known fact.
I lost my thought. I was going to say something about Kevin. It was really going to be heartfelt, but now I've lost it. So
it had to do with my being an aggressive fan and in your face and
I just so enjoy you. You really are like the brother who makes me laugh. Whose victories I kind of feel vicarious triumphs through, and I just adore you. So thank you for being here today, and that's one of the great gifts San Francisco's given me is a relationship with Kevin. So thank you, Paul.
Well, happy birthday to you. And I don't want to cast any aspersions, but I feel we are closer than you are to your own brother.
Mark has a lot of brothers, so.
Sadly, that's true, though. Yeah. All right, Kevin, love you. Thanks for being here, Kevin Pollak.